get in the cannabis industry? How did I decide to do a tour bus? Good question, Lynn. About a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, oops, my dog Delilah, who's a half greyhound, half lab mix, loves the beach, loves running, loves the ball. She's on the beach and she landed when she caught the ball on her ACL the wrong way and tore it. The vet said surgeries. You know, it doesn't matter what, you'll do anything for your dog, but I did not want to see my dog suffer, nor did I not like the idea of her not being able to do what she loves best every day. So I was told about CBD. I was told that there were things you can do to alleviate pain. So I thought, what the heck, I had nothing to lose. I literally gave her a topical. I put it on her ACL. On the beach 3 weeks later, not 3 to 6 months off recovering from a horrible surgery, but back on the beach. I am a believer. From the beginning, I wanted to learn the process. I'm learning it just like some of you have and will in the way that relive my story. We're going to take you up close and personal behind the scenes. Obviously, right now, we're not doing that. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. I'm going to try and educate you. We're going to be speaking to different educators we have and how easy it is for me to talk through a mask. This is not easy. But I might get into a fashion thing with these masks and matching outfits. I'm kind of liking it. I've got to find the good in things, right? And we are now going to find out about distillate, how oils are made into a lab, and we're dealing with the mad scientist. I feel like Cousin It. Anyway, we are with the It Man, who is an analytical chemist, Ed. He's here to talk about distillate, and he is basically the middleman. So here's Ed.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the CannaBUS.
He's got the best mask, by the way. Check out his mask.
It is a NIOSH-approved N95 mask. That's true. In high demand right now. So I hope you're all staying safe. I'm an analytical chemist by training. I have a graduate degree in actually electroanalytical chemistry, but as they said in graduate school, all electrochemists become chromatographers. And what that is basically we measure things. So I worked in petroleum and environmental and pharmaceutical industry for about 30 years with my own business selling analytical instruments for chemical analysis. People may be familiar with these things. When you go to a dispensary, you'll see that there are perhaps certificates of analysis that are provided by a dispensary to show that the product is safe. And that's primarily what I do, is I ensure product safety and quality for the dispensaries. So that's why it's always important to buy your products from licensed dispensaries that are actually paying attention to certificates of analysis that are provided by the producers of the material.
I think what everybody would like to know right now is, how does the coronavirus affect the business operations in the cannabis industry?
Thank you, Lynn. The cannabis industry, the people who are actually the producers of the material and the dispensaries are considered essential operations. So they are exempt from stay-at-home rules because we have to come to work because we're considered, in part, a medical industry. So the dispensaries are actually dispensing prescriptions for patients, and therefore we need to keep the flow of materials and products going. We are at the manufacturing company. Stephan Brown is a microbiotic. Metabolic. See, I can't pronounce it, but then everybody, I couldn't pronounce cannabinoid or medicinal, and I can now. So we're here in his shop, and we are able to discuss what's happening in the coronavirus today and how it relates to cannabis. And I'm going to give the microphone over to you, Stephan.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Stephan Brown. Welcome to our manufacturing and distribution center. Right now, what you see in the background here is our distribution center. And as you can see, everybody here does have PPE. We do require gloves and masks to be worn during this pandemic.
You mentioned to me that the mask itself depends on the way it is, the germs, and the louder the voice, how it affects the air. I think people would love to know that because there's so many little questions we have no idea about, and you're such an information booth that you should dwell on that a little bit more if you could. Thank you.
Yeah, so what we know about the coronavirus so far is that it does actually replicate inside your lungs. There are two types of cells that we have in your lungs, type 1, type 2 pneumocytes, and it's actually affecting our type 2 pneumocytes inside the lungs and reproducing in there. That being said, as you breathe in and breathe out, you're also taking in water droplets into your body and out of your body just the same way. And the viruses actually go ahead and migrate via these little droplets that you go ahead and either cough out, or if you're speaking, it just naturally comes out as just natural mist coming out of your mouth.
How do you know and are sure that smoking recreationally is safe during this disease? What kind of precautions do you take for that?
So right now, unfortunately, I have to state that as a professional that we don't have any data that ensures that smoking or inhaling cannabis smoke is technically safe for somebody who has coronavirus. As a professional, I would actually warn against that specifically. Mainly due to the irritants that it may cause the lungs. And one of the things that we know are occurring is that people who have irritated lungs or issues where their lungs can become inflamed too easily, they are the ones who are at most risk for this pandemic. So one of the questions we get a lot is, what is the difference between THC and CBD? As far as we can tell, scientifically speaking, CBD is the counteracting agent to THC. So if you do have huge amounts of anxiety because you've been smoking too much THC, the natural counter to that would be to take some CBD. So as you see here, we've actually moved to a different area of our company. This is the manufacturing side. In the manufacturing side, we do things that we couldn't do in the distribution, which is essentially taking pure THC and putting it into products and making them more medicinal in value. A couple of our products that we do here, this first one that you see, this is a Miracle Rub. This Miracle Rub is a topical that we use for pain relief, and that this will actually diffuse across the membrane and take the THC direct to your nerves and help to calm your nerves down and help to relieve any kind of current ailments that you might have there. In addition to that, this also helps to reduce the inflammation that people have and ease up on any kind of stress that's present. And our main consumer of our rubs here are elderly people, which is why we're classified as an essential business to stay open. The other product I'd like to show you is another one that we have just coming out, and this right here is a massage oil. People can use it for doing massages, or if you do use it in those private areas, it will cross those thin membranes and give a different feeling in their private areas.
So this is the quarantine baby here.
But you know, one of the other things that we found is that people will eventually try to get kinky with each other. They will go down on each other. And so one of the other things that we had to make sure about this oil is that it's edible.
We are now working in an area that we're going to find out about baking edibles. And Deborah here has a great story I want you to hear about, how she started the industry and why, and how she infused edibles, mainly brownies, cooking cookies, correct?
Correct.
Okay, meet Deborah.
We are a manufacturer of cannabis bakery items. I have got my start in bakery back in 1979, so it's been quite a while. So kind of natural to go from regular bakery into cannabis infused. We definitely, as far as our #1 seller is brownies, which we can all do at home as well. We just try to make it easier as far
And they're
as
so good.
as far as the the proportions. Yeah. But what has always got me is that we do this for the medical side. Most importantly is for the elderly people. It's harder for people like my mom or my dad to actually smoke something if they need a little bit of relief. So the edibles is where that comes in. So one of the things that we really started deciding to change into the cannabis industry was my mother, back a few years ago, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And how she was actually diagnosed is another long story, but we were very fortunate. This is just some brownies that we just did. I have approximately 30 pans of brownies started out. And once these get lab tested to start, that'll tell us how big to cut those pieces into 10 milligrams. So these are just a brownie, natural preserver inside of those. And so those will be going to the stores shortly.
3-hour tour, a 3-hour tour.